Hi, I'm Janice, and I am a personal trainer at the Miller Center, the YMCA, and I'd like to talk to you today about the importance of moving. Our bodies are designed to move. Every function of your body, including bringing air in and working through your heart and pumping blood through your whole body, is moving. We have to chew our food, our system digests it and pushes it through. We've got to move our mouths to talk, and our eyes are constantly moving. So everything is working together in movement. The more we move, the better our system works together as one unit, and the more it keeps everything inside aligned. Think about water. When water gets stagnant, it gets kind of icky, and things die in it. Bacteria grows in it that we don't want. And your bodies are made up of 60% of water. Okay. So what impact does movement have on your body? We've all had to do blood pressure checks. What does that mean? It means it measures how effectively oxygen is being taken in and pumped through your body, and how efficiently your heart is working at doing that. Regular aerobic exercise is one of the most effective ways to increase your HDL, which is the good cholesterol. And when we do that, we'll keep the harmful cholesterol at bay and lower your risk of heart disease. Physical activity also plays a critical role in how your body processes carbohydrates. When we're sedentary, our blood sugar levels are going to rise, and that leads to diabetes and obesity and a host of other issues. So exercise can even keep you off of medication when you're persistent and consistent. So how is your endurance? Do you ever feel yourself getting winded when you're going up a flight of stairs, or if you have to carry your groceries all the way to your car? That means your system isn't working as efficiently as it can be if you get out of breath regularly. So regular exercise, again, can improve your heart and lung health. And even in people who have chronic heart and lung issues, it can still help improve that. When your body has a greater efficiency at taking in and absorbing oxygen, it's going to function better when you're under strain and when it's stressed. But when you're not conditioned, you're going to be taking more breaths to try and get that oxygen in. This is why you may feel lightheaded when you work too hard. You're just trying to get more oxygen in, and your system is not working to catch up with you. Sometimes we may put off exercising or moving because our knees hurt, or our hips hurt, or our back hurts, and we just don't feel like moving. But honestly, exercise can actually help with those aches and pains. These joint pains can be caused by injury, repetitive motions, osteoarthritis, and some aging, but inactivity can also increase joint pain. Muscles around those joints need to be kept strong. When we don't use them, we lose that muscular support around the joints. So it's really important to keep all those muscles supporting your joints, supporting your back, supporting your knees, strengthened. And sometimes we just need to keep them moving to get the strength that we need and help those joints to move. Did you ever feel stiff in the morning and then start to move a little bit, and pretty soon you've gotten loosened up and ready to go? That's your fascia. Your fascia is the tissues that go through your whole body, between the muscles and the joints, and that gets stiff. And we need to loosen that up and get it moving. If we don't move it, it's just going to stay stiff. So the more we move sometimes, the less aches and pains that we'll have. Sometimes we take the easy way out and use assist recliners that push you up and don't take the stairs, when actually that may not be doing you a favor in the end. We want to use those muscles as much as we can throughout the day. So as we age, our bones become more brittle. The calcium in your bones is absorbed into your bloodstream, and this is known as osteoporosis. So it's much more easy to break a bone, and we want to keep those bones strong. So guess what? Exercise is one way we can do that. We want to do weight-bearing exercise specifically. Now, weight-bearing exercise can be anything from lifting a few weights. You can lift your laundry soap, a can, anything that adds resistance. And you can also use some resistance bands, but your body weight works just as well. Every time you get up off of a chair, you're using your own body weight to exercise. This condition affects primarily people with small bones. That would be women, and women 4 times more than men. So the lower bone density you have, the more you want to really work at increasing your exercise to ward off this disease. So very important for that as well. So we all have memory problems, even I do, as we age. Exercise can actually help with that. According to scientists, exercise promotes neuroplasticity, and that's the ability of your brain to renew your neural connections. And this increases your memory. Maybe not increase it, but helps it from getting any worse. So doing something active will help with that, but it also helps with moods and anxiety disorders and ward off stress. If we're looking forward to going bowling or swimming or even walking with a friend, that's going to occupy your mind and give you something to look forward to instead of being weighed down by a stressful situation, which can really play a toll on your body physically. So exercise can be a drug-free treatment for anxiety and depression and other disorders. It changes your brain completely, making you better equipped to deal with stressful situations. It gives us those endorphins and dopamine that are going to make you feel better about yourself and feel more confident. Sleep is another area affected by how much activity you have. Your lack of movement often leads to heart disease, obesity, mood disorders, and depression, and other things that play into our sleep. You may experience sleeplessness, interrupted sleep, trouble getting back to sleep. So regular exercise has been shown to increase total sleep time and leave you feeling more rested and alert throughout the day. If you can exercise outdoors, it can be a highly effective drug-free sleep inducer, one that you're missing out on if you're not getting out regularly. So we know that exercise is important. We've established that. But how much exercise do you need? It's been established that you need 150 minutes of exercise a week to keep you active and keep everything working together. So that breaks down to about 22 minutes a day, but that doesn't mean you need to do it all in one or every single day. We want to be consistent, trying to exercise 4 or 5 days a week, and trying to get that much time in. It doesn't mean we have to do the same exercise, but we want to get movement into our day. We can also break that down into 10 or 15-minute segments, whatever works for you. The key is to move your body as much as possible. So regular exercise is not only good for weight loss, but for optimal health. So being thin doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy. Even if you don't have the classic risk factors like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or obesity, inactivity can still lead to heart disease and other debilitating illnesses. So there are 4 key elements of exercise that we want to focus on: endurance or aerobic fitness, strength, balance, and flexibility. The first one we'll talk about is cardio, endurance, or aerobic fitness. Aerobic activity is anything that causes you to breathe faster or more deeply, which will maximize the amount of oxygen in your blood. Your heart will beat faster, which increases the blood flow to your muscles and then back into your lungs. So the better your aerobic fitness, the more efficiently your heart and lungs and blood vessels transport oxygen throughout your body. And this is doing this even while you're asleep. The whole time it's working. So you want this system to work efficiently as possible for you. So it makes it much easier to complete routine tasks. If you're vacuuming, if you're carrying groceries, your heart's going to work more effectively during these activities. If you have to run to your car in the rain, you want to be able to do that effectively. So another area we want to talk about is strength. Strength training, anything adding resistance, can increase your bone strength and your muscular fitness. It will also help boost your metabolism, which again will help you to keep your weight maintained. It will help you increase your ability to stay independent and be able to do everyday activities. So important for us. How many times should you do strength training? 2 or 3 times a week is ideal, but you can do a little bit every day. Anytime you can add resistance and put some pressure on those muscles, it will be helpful. Anything that you do to create resistance, whether it's weights, you can improvise and use a water bottle, a soup can, your laundry detergent, or resistance bands are pretty inexpensive. We can work with those. You can also use your own body weight, pushing off the counter. What's the first thing you do when you get out of bed in the morning? Most of us have to run to the bathroom. You're going to put your feet on the floor and use those legs. So we want to keep them strong and keep you active so you can get up out of that chair and be independent. Okay, building strength doesn't mean going to the gym just to get some muscle strength. We're going to demonstrate here how we need to get up and down off a chair and how we can build strength through our legs doing that. We're going to just do sit to stands, so pushing through your feet. We're going to stand right up, pushing into your thighs, and then back down nice and slow. We're going to make sure our knees don't come in together. So you want to keep going, push through the floor all the way up and back down. Do these every day to keep these legs strong if you can. Options are to not use your hands, to try and add a little bit more challenge to that. Good. So that's one way to build leg strength just from home. If you don't have weights at home, you can grab a water bottle, and we can do everything from a bicep curl all the way up reaching and then back down. Anything that you use at home. Laundry detergent, soup cans, it all works. So challenge yourself, reaching up, good. And if you want a little extra challenge, you can hold whatever weight you have with both hands and stand all the way up with that. So we're going to reach up and go to the top shelf and then back down. So lots of fun ways to be creative and challenge yourself right in your living room chair. We can also, we're going to stay up and challenge yourself moving with that. So if we move and do a bicep curl with that, you can do one arm or both, back down, yep. So rarely in life are you just standing still and moving the biceps or your shoulder muscles. You are moving with that, carrying your laundry basket, taking your groceries to the car, and from the car you're typically moving with that. Easy way to do that. Okay. Your countertop is a great way to work some posture and upper body strength. If you can do a push-up on there, we're just going to bend the elbows, come forward, shoulders stay down, and then breathe out and push the counter away. Keeping the body a plank. Good. Don't go too low. Exhale, push it away. If that's too much of a challenge, the wall works just as well to press into the wall. So breathe out, pushing away. We can also hold a plank here, just to use core strength, keeping your heels slightly off the ground, a long neck, long torso, shoulders back, abs are tight. This helps build core strength, which helps with balance immensely. And a push off, come back. Nicely done. A great way to work your hamstrings and core is lying down, and you can do this in your bed or on the floor, and you can lift your hips up. So as you exhale, you're going to lift your hips up, relaxing your feet a little bit so we don't cramp, and then come back down. This will work your glutes and the back of your legs. Good. Always want to keep those strong. Nice. If you want to work the inside of your leg, your adductors, you can add a pillow and do that as well. And another great way to work your core is to bring your knees and your feet in the air, right above your hips. And you can alternate tapping your toes down while you keep your lower back down. Yep. And then come back in. We can stay bent. You don't have to extend it too far. Whatever is comfortable on your back. Just keeping that lower back down is the key. Breathing with it is so important. Exhaling. Good. So another thing we want to work on is balance. What's our biggest fear? The fear of falling. It really destroys our confidence sometimes too. So if we can practice balance, we'll have more confidence and we'll be able to maintain our stance in situations when we need to. Balance exercises can be done standing or sitting, however you feel comfortable, but challenge your balance in a safe way from time to time so that you are able to do those things. Anytime you're moving or changing your center of gravity, you're going to challenge your balance. It doesn't have to be standing in one place. It can be shifting your center of gravity from one side to the other. It can be standing or sitting, but we want to work that balance, and the more we practice, the more confident we will feel and help to reduce that fear and keep us independent. So a great way to challenge your balance, like we said, if we don't practice it, it's going to be more challenging to recall when we need to. We can do this sitting. Reaches, taking one point away, making your center of gravity shift. Great way to challenge that balance in a chair. Beautiful. We can also try and come forward, lifting slightly off, and then lift your hips up and then back down just a little bit. Good. Challenge your center of gravity to come forward and controlling it. Keeping your knees lined up with your toes, adding strength and balance together, and come all the way up standing. So when we work balance, we want to change our center of gravity or take a point away. Easiest way to do that is marching, using your abs. Always helps to find a focal point to look at. Good, that helps with balance. And if that's a challenge, always have a wall or a railing nearby that you can hang on to. We want you to feel confident in these positions. We can try a stagger step, taking one foot in front, picking up the back heel, shifting your weight front to back. Stay there and just rock back and forth. Shift the weight front to back. Good. This will challenge your balance. And then if you change your focus and move your head, turn one direction. Good. That will add additional challenge. Good. So balance isn't always just holding a leg up. It is moving also while we're doing that. Good. And stepping side to side is also a challenge. Changing your center of gravity to one side. Good. And then leaning into it. So bend one knee and lean in. Do a lateral lunge there. Good. Good. We want to keep our head up and our chin up and look ahead. Oftentimes we find ourselves looking at the ground, and that takes our center of gravity forward. Beautiful. So we talked before a little bit about the fascia and moving and how important it is to keep that moving and in motion. Stretching is a great way to increase some flexibility. Do you ever feel how stiff you are first thing in the morning? We just need to get things moving sometimes. It'll make it much easier to get through your day. Stretching is going to improve your range of motion, and it's going to help those joints move better as well. It will help with posture. If we don't work on this, it can lead to a host of other activities. It can help with your gait. If you're stiff and not moving, you're going to have a harder time at walking. So any kind of motion that you can do is going to help increase your flexibility. We want to have warmed up a little bit to have some blood flow till we do that. So you want to get things loosened and moving and just get that fascia loosened up before we start. Stretching can be easily done sitting in a chair. As long as we're moving that body, we can reach one arm up, stretching all the way down the side. Easy to do, and your body craves this stretching. You can turn and reach for the back of the chair. Look behind you. We want that neck range of motion so you can see a car when you have to turn behind you. Torso mobility. Good. Easy to do sitting in a chair. Great way to stretch our legs sitting is to extend one leg out and just hinge forward from your hips. Good. You can reach your arms both out in front of you, extending. You should feel this all the way down the back of your leg, extending, and even through your torso. Good. Bring it in, and we can try the other leg. You may notice a difference in each leg. Beautiful. Great way to stretch your hips is to cross one foot over your knee. Not going to work for everybody, but we can try a challenge. You can extend the bottom leg out to add a little bit more mobility there if you need to, but stretches all through the hips. Another great way to stretch our hip flexors, which often get tight pulling us forward, is to sit on the side of a chair. So we're going to have Audrey back over to the side of the chair. hang onto the back of the chair and drop this knee down to the ground. And she's going to feel this the whole way down the front of that leg and that hip. Great for lengthening the hip flexors and quad. Easy way to do that. Also adds a little bit of a balance challenge. Good. Door frames make great posture stretches for opening up the pecs and stretching through the back. So if you put your hands on the door frame and step through, that's going to feel really good through your chest and back. Easy to do. The back of our calves often get tight, limiting flexion, dorsiflexion. So we want to try and stretch those when we can. Propping the ball of your foot up on a book or a brick really helps with that, and your legs will thank you for that. Your back will really thank you if you give it some love, and a great way to do that is to bring your knees in and just let your lower back rest, bringing some space in those lower vertebrae. Rock side to side a little bit, just gently getting some spinal mobility. Helps with low back pain. And also one leg in works really well. So we're going to extend one leg, keep it on the ground, and hug one leg in, keeping this hip down on the ground, trying not to let it lift up, and just hugging one leg in and switching. Keep that lower back on the ground. Good. And release it. We're going to have Audrey flip over to her hands and knees. Okay, if you can get on your hands and knees, cat-cows are great if you drop your head down and take your shoulder blades to the ceiling and then lift your tailbone and squeeze your shoulder blades, just working through your spine. Good. The mobility will really help with motion through the day. Yep. And then if you take your knees a little bit wider and sit back on your heels, you can stretch through your hips, reach for the top of the table. Good, and just stretching through your hips and back. Good. And come up. Nice. Okay. If you can't get down on your knees, a great way to do this is a wall down dog. You're pushing the wall away, stretching through your spine, raising your hips in the air, feeling that all the way down your spine and through the back of your legs, and then rounding up slow. Yep, and just going back into that. And then rounding up. So Audrey, 2 years ago, tell us about where you were with your fitness level.
2 years ago, I was not able to rise from a chair without armchairs or pushing myself up. I had a constant fear of falling. I wasn't walking correctly. I was able to go up steps, but not, I had the fear of falling coming down the steps. I lost a lot of my mobility. When you saw me on the table, I could not have done that 2 years ago. My balance, in fact, I think if a state trooper would have stopped me, he would have said I was drunk. I could not put the lateral steps that you saw me do. I would have lost my balance and fall. So I owe a lot to Janice to I was able to conquer my fear. I built up a lot of confidence. I do no longer need assistance going on and off curbs. I can reach in my cupboards and I can bend and lower. So my whole quality of life has improved because I'm more independent and able to function and do some of the things that I did in my younger years.
So you may think that getting older is an excuse to slow down and not do the things you used to. And yes, you may not be able to do them to the ability that you were. You may have to rearrange some of your routine. But please don't slow down. Please keep moving. Audrey's an attest to that. She's 83 years old, and she just moves and is agile and confident in what she's doing. And it's just very rewarding to be able to see that. So when we think about our bodies moving, we want to make sure we cover all the bases. Whether you're watching a video, walking with a friend, or working out on your own, or enlisting the help of a personal trainer, make sure you're including aerobic fitness, strength training, balance, and flexibility. It's not necessarily to do all these things each session, but make sure you're getting in enough of each. Being consistent will be your best bet. Consistency will help you to stay independent longer and be more active and enjoy your daily living activities.